Okay, let's. Hello. As we come in, we hit the like button. The like is free, and the share is free, so we do that. We show support. Remember, we are 100% viewer friendly. Okay. Remember, nothing in life is free. So now we're just waiting for YouTube to work again. YouTube just cut off there, so I gotta reset the whole thing. Okay, there we go. Finally. That's back on. Come on, YouTube. We are missing another like. We only have 2. You know, just because you guys decided to play the in and out game, it's still technically 04. 2 more total. So, yeah. Take it away, man. Indian givers, they are. I'm just waiting for you two to get going here.
We need to apologize to everyone who has ever bought the Natural Healing Handbook from us, because we lied. Yes.
What? Come on. Mom. All right, we got to get that in there better. Yeah,
Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker.
Come on.
Well, we have a bombshell development in the media broadcast world. 2 top executives are out. Trump is going to get an apology, and that is for the systemic and serious bias at the network and a hoax that it perpetrated about January 6th. But before we get into the story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, 2 top executives are out at the BBC. This is the major British company that is a global player in the news environment, and that is Director General Tim Davie and new CEO Deborah Turness. They have both resigned, and the fallout comes after a panorama documentary deceptively edited President Trump's January 6th speech at the Ellipse. Now, key context was cut out of his speech, including Trump saying, "Cheer on, Congressman," making it appear that he incited violence when he was doing the exact opposite. Now, you can go to his social media accounts on the day of January 6th and the day after, where he repeatedly called for peace. And at his Ellipse speech, he called for people to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard. That was to support the election objections that were taking place in the Congress. That was Trump's real objective. He actually wanted to secure the Electoral College. He told the Pentagon secretary to secure it, and that included even authorizing up to 10,000 National Guard troops to be there. Of course, we know what happened. The rest is history. It was all an entrapment plot. Nancy Pelosi was in on it. And you can listen to what we just recently said about the former Capitol Police Chief, Stephen Son, saying that he tried to beg the House Sergeant at Arms to get National Guard troops there. Of course, they were nowhere to be found because Pelosi was really trying so hard to get security there while she was filming a documentary with her daughter. But I digress. So the BBC is expected to issue a formal apology this week for misleading viewers. And reports say the leadership was warned repeatedly about the deceptively edited video. But of course, we know woke activists, they don't care about the truth. They don't care about ethics. They don't care about morality. They just want to mislead people into supporting the government. Now, why would we, after they mislead everyone into supporting their form of government? that's because they don't have honest intentions. They are bad faith actors, and we are on to them. And the sooner the American people realize that these activists, they don't care about the truth, they only care about manipulating people and spreading propaganda to mislead them into a form of government that has almost total control over the public. And that's what socialism is, and that's why it has failed in the past. But notice all the Democrats that are coming out to cheer on communist Zoran Mamdani in New York City. That's right. He has talked about seizing the means of production and eliminating private property. These are classic Marxist talking points. So he is out in the open, and the Democrats are outing themselves left and right. So the BBC, of course, they have been trying to push the international operation that is trying to push Trump and other populists out of power. And what is a populist? It's someone who represents the will of the people. So we will keep following this development at the BBC. Let's hope it's the first of other broadcast companies having to get some pressure now to admit they lied to the American people about January 6th. We are on to them, and the word is out. So if you want to keep spreading the word, please like, share, and comment at Explain America and add your own voice to the conversation. We always appreciate hearing from you.
Lie. Only people like to lie. Yes, we know that there are Democrats probably like to lie. Yes, the government is officially open, guys.
Mamdani's career is over. Mamdani's career is over as millionaires flee New York. All of his tax base, the people that have to pay taxes like you and me, gone.
It's the Doug Show, Doug Show, Doug Show. It's the Doug Show, Doug Show, Doug Show.
Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Shout out to the Quad. Side joke on why we call it the Quad Club. But here's Mamdani on his very first hire is a DEI hire. We're going to go into the entire fiasco that is Mamdani and much more news. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Here's Mamdani.
And I would now like to introduce my Chief of Staff, LIBTARD Church.
No applause. Silence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor-elect. My name is LIBTARD Church, and I am so proud to stand here to accept the role as Chief of Staff.
She's about ready to turn around and burn that American flag any second now. You can already tell. She's like, ugh, this makes my skin crawl. After announcing an all-female mayoral transition team, Zoran Mamdani announces his Chief of Staff in City Hall will be a 34-year-old socialist woman from California who has no real-world experience. Incredible. Meanwhile, New Hampshire governor recruits New York City business owners fleeing the Mamdani regime. That's the big news. Just even other states are starting to lick their chops at the New York businesses ready to leave. A large van covered in rotating digital posters circled Midtown Manhattan last week after Democrat Socialist Mamdani won a Democratic New York City mayoral election. New Hampshire Republican Governor Kelly Ayotte's campaign sent in a van covered with ads reading, New York City business owners, Mamdani got you down. Come on up to New Hampshire for no communism, less red tape, and less taxes, and various phases encouraging New Yorkers to head just a little bit north. Mamdani, his whole state now, is being undermined by other states, even Democrat strongholds. And that chief of staff, the diversity hire, all-female chief of staff, he's not going to have one man to stand up to him. Quote, New Hampshire has a lot to offer anyone who's looking to leave New York City ahead of the Mamdani regime, Ayotte told Fox News Digital. We're the safest state in the nation, the best for economic opportunity, and we have some of the lowest taxes anywhere. Whether you own a business or just want to keep more of your hard-earned money, come on up to the Granite State. We would love to have have you. And speaking of loving to have you, here's a word from our sponsor, this from Chapter. And I've got more testimonies from you. Listen to this. We've got, I'm all set with better coverage thanks to Chapter. That's from one of you right up there in the corner. Next one down. Chapter helped me with Part D. Now, I'm an ignorant comic book artist. I'm not sure what Part D is. Medicare Part D. Drug plan. They told me I already had the best plan. No premiums. Chapter sent me a thank you gift. Now, this is what I mean by they take care of you guys and they love you guys, and that's part of why I trust them. A glasses cleaning cloth, which I can use because I use these and I misread your stuff all the time. Such a sweet gift and great quality. Even their cleaning cloths are great quality. Thanks, Doug, for promoting Chapter. You need to call Chapter. I'm going to pin the comment. First comment has the phone number in it. You don't need to go to the website. Call the number to help call out that it's my number that you guys are calling. Chapter at 631-9. Patriots call. You'll get a priority if they do take your number down and have to call you back. Call my trusted friends at Chapter for all things Medicare. They'll explain it. They'll treat you like a human being. And some of you guys are getting free spectacle cleaners at no charge. The call, by the way, is free. They're not going to charge you anything for the phone call. It's free. 631-961-8696. Call Chapter today. Do not procrastinate. You have till December 7th. We're not done smearing Mom Donnie yet. Here's Mom Donnie's support base boasts that he is the first candidate since 1969 to clear 1 million votes. Less noted is that more than 1 million New Yorkers voted against him. So he got first to get 1 million votes and first to get 1 million against him. The split reflects Mom Donnie's polarizing nature and how sharply his vision departs from the city's historic self-understanding. You guys have heard me say before, I always want to divide the Democrat Party, not our own party. And if they have 1 million Democrats voting against him, that's very good. Here's Grok. I asked him about Mom Donnie. Grok AI says quadrupling tolls, which is Mom Donnie's plan, licensing fees, permits, and inspections for commercial vehicles would spike operational costs for logistics giants. Eroding thin margins in trucking. Mom Donnie's border Democrat socialist platform emphasizing heavy business taxes, rent controls, and expansive regulations aims to curb corporate profits via redistribution, potentially deterring investment and prompting relocations. Such policies prioritize equity over efficiency, which is why he did the equity hire of that 34-year-old gal from California, making sustained on to consumers, because businesses aren't stupid. They're just going to charge you more if it costs more to do business in New York. Here's City Desk in New York City. Mom Donnie's recycling of de Blasio's failed budget hacks proves he's out of ideas and cash. The 74-year-old retread presided over the same fantasy math that below New York City's finances under BDB free everything, zero accountability, and a taxpayer bill that never stops growing, which de Blasio started. Adams kept the city solvent by cutting waste, not chasing slogans. Mom Donnie, he's doubling down on the playbook that turned New York City HA into a slumlord and buried small businesses in red tape. The only thing progressive about this new hire, his new hire, how fast it'll accelerate the collapse, that new female chief of staff. Here's Adele. Maybe we need to remind New Yorkers that Venezuela went from third richest country in the world in 1992 to eating zoo animals because of socialism. There you go. I hear zebras taste pretty good. Here's Kathy Hochul hits the brakes on Mom Donnie's own free bus plan. So a little conflict with Governor Kathy Hochul. You can't even get buy-in from fellow Democrats. And now, breaking news, mind-blowing that already knows this. Daily Mail, Olympics set to ban all transgender athletes from female events after finding scientific evidence of advantages to being born male. Science found out that males have a greater physical advantage than females. Now, the Democrats are supposed to be the pro-science party. Remember that? They go, unlike the Republicans, we're pro-science. And yet they're the ones pushing the transgender, which is anti-science, common sense, and reality. Any third grader will tell you boys are generally stronger than girls. And so it would be an unfair advantage to let a trans athlete compete among women. That's common sense and that's normal. But it's news to the Democrats, and we had to twist their arm. This is radical. This is still Mamdani's values, by the way. He still wanted me. He's wrong. It's what they're going to run on in 2028, thinking that we're going to go radical. Here's more.
Mom.
February 22nd, 1983 was a pretty scary, hard day for me.
Wrong. It's what they're going to run on in 2028, thinking that we're going to go radical. Here's more. Here's Attorney General James Utmeyer. We launched an investigation into J.P. Morgan Chase. Why?
Today, we've sent a letter and launched an investigation into J.P. Morgan Chase Bank after alarming revelations about their coordinated efforts with Jack Smith and the Department of Justice as part of the Biden administration's Operation Arctic Frost.
J.P. Morgan Chase, that's big money. Everyone says like the Republicans are in bed with rich fat cats. Why is J.P. Morgan Chase one of the biggest, most fat cat colluding with the Biden administration and Jack Smith?
Where we now know Biden officials went after their political enemies. It's come to our attention that J.P. Morgan debanked Trump Media Group, a Florida-based company, right before the business went public.
That's where Trump does his business for Truth Social, some of his meme coins, his cryptocurrencies, and they deplatformed him even before, they knew they were going after him. It's called debanking someone. The bank that Melania Trump uses was debanked, and Barron Trump was debanked. Get ready for a serious lawsuit on this front. I'm going to skip this video and go to this one because it's better. Former DNI Jim Clapper hit with a Florida grand jury subpoena. We got Clapper. We already got Strzok, but now this is news to me that we got Clapper. Good. Investigate, throw him in jail. Here's Sonny Hostin saying Chuck Schumer should step down.
Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times. Shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom.
Like Moses splitting the sea, the Democrat Party has a major rift. Yes, divide. Attack him. Attack your own.
The bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over.
Career over for Chuck Schumer. Yay, Sonny Hostin, I agree. Get him. Attack that wing of the party that opened the government up again. That's a good strategy. I just like this one because Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about the vote today. And watch this. This one's funny because the journalists, they all chase him. The session goes out, and for the first time, Mike Johnson does not talk to the press. He walks away from them. Watch this.
Wow. That was weird.
Chase him. They're chasing him like rats. He went down this hall. Run, you little jerk. Oh, yeah, lady in a dress. Get him. Run. Where's Mike Johnson? Come back and give us more. He's done. He's done dealing with these people.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. No, it's sane. Maybe he just had to go to the bathroom. You're crazy. You're a journalist. Anyways, if you guys are happy to the good news that number 1, Chuck Schumer's being called to step down. Number 2, millionaire businesses are fleeing New York that will eviscerate Mamdani. And this is going to be what we run on all the way to 2026 to hopefully increase our margins in the House and Senate. Let me know what you guys in the chat below. I'm Doug in exile.
There we go. Come on.
Chinese satellite was caught shooting down green laser beams over top Hawaii. You see, American astronomers who were stationed...
President Trump just got a major win for the American people. He stuck it to the Democrats, and now their party is being exposed for harming the U.S. economy, putting people out of work, holding hungry children hostage. Why? In order to cripple the economy and make President Trump look bad. I'll go through all of this and more because guess what? President Trump is on the verge of suing the BBC for $1 billion. That's right. The BBC was busted putting out false information about President Trump planning, executing, and calling on voters to attack the Capitol on January 6th. They deceptively edited his speech and stitched one part separated by an entire hour to another part to make it look like attacking the Capitol was President Trump's idea and calling for violence when in reality, because this video could end up putting $1 billion in his pocket.
Yeah.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
What a difference. So they make it sound like he wants them to go balls to the walls crazy on his behalf, attack the Capitol, when in reality he said, we're going to go down and cheer them on. Later in the speech, he says, peacefully and patriotically make our voices heard. Yeah. So they are busted in a huge lie. And now Trump has put them on notice. He says, I want you to retract the lie. I want you to apologize about the false defamatory documentary. This was only a snippet of the lies, or you will face a $1 billion lawsuit. Now, isn't that crazy? We know that the Democrats lie, but I didn't know that the BBC, that Britain was willing to lie in order to make a sitting president of the United States look bad. Now, the BBC chair apologized for the Trump saying, we are not a biased organization. We go against Trump. We go for Trump. We try to tell the truth. Yeah. Well, so what is the truth? The truth is that there was a coup going on within the BBC. These are the two people. BBC CEO and Director General resign after manipulated Trump January 6th speech. BBC Director General Tim Davie and new CEO Deborah Turnez are out after a leaked memo revealed Panorama spliced together Trump quotes to make it look like he incited the Capitol riot. The edit was so misleading it triggered internal backlash, public outrage, and accusations of outright political propaganda. Even the UK's culture secretary called the scandal very serious, and now top brass are walking the plank. Turns out manipulating footage to smear a former U.S. president does come with consequences. So what do you think will happen? Is Trump going to sue them for $1 billion, or do you think he's going to move on? I think what we're going to see is they have now been forced to resign. They will apologize. Man, Trump has to deal with so many lies. Okay, speaking of lies and good news, a couple big things have come out. Number one, they believe they know who the January 6th pipe bomber is. I've been holding back. I'm going to do a video about this, but right now, I don't want to get in trouble for defaming anybody. So allegedly, it's a former Capitol Police officer who was a Democrat, anti-Trump person, shot people with rubber bullets in order to incite violence. The night before, she went, and she's the one that put the pipe bombs. So why has the FBI either covered this up, lied to us, or been an $11 billion company that is stupid and cannot solve crimes. Why did it take Steve Baker at the Blaze to solve this mystery? So I'll be doing more about that. But another big lie has been this government shutdown that is now supposedly coming to an end. They voted to end it. In a dramatic bipartisan breakthrough, Senate Democrats Catherine Cortez Masto, Jean Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, Tim Kaine, Dick Durbin, Jackie Rosen, John Fetterman, and Angus King voted with Republicans last night to...
Oh, commercial.
This is actually the biggest thing they've done to protect American seniors from the migrant crisis. Here's how it works.
Fetterman and Angus King voted with Republicans last night to advance a continuing resolution ending the 40-day government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history. Their defection secured the 60 votes needed, overriding party leadership facing re-election or retirement, finally acknowledged the truth. The Democrat on people and the country. Furloughed federal workers, including air traffic controllers, endured unpaid labor amid holiday travel chaos, while 42 million American SNAP recipients received slashed benefits, had to stand in food bank lines. Head Start programs halted money for 58,600 children. They were literally going to starve children to collapse the economy, the stock market, and to make Donald Trump look bad. These people are sick and demented. And the CDC's disease modeling stalled, endangering public health. This shutdown hurt is real, Dick Durbin stated, citing nutritional aid limbo and retroactive pay needs. Shaheen echoed this was the only deal on the table. Polls showed that Democrats overwhelmingly bore the burden of this when it came to polling data. Now, yeah, they ended up winning in Virginia, in New Jersey, and New York City. But now there is major backlash against Senator Chuck Schumer and Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. Progressives like Chris Murphy decried the vote as a major mistake. O'Connor and Seth Moulton demand that Chuck Schumer resign. Senator Bernie Sanders said this was a very bad night for the Democrat Party. And activists like Shannon Watts accused leadership of opacity. Critics argue this was Democrats' prime leverage against President Trump. That this was going to be the deal to clinch the 2026 election for Democrats. Now it's all backfiring. Everybody is blaming Democrats, and they're saying, we see through your lies and we're disgusted by you.
Yep.
Now, Schumer said, we surrendered without firm commitments. Jeffries said, this is a Republican bill. Trump hailed the Senate's move as a positive development, urging swift action while reiterating his push to redirect ACA credits to health savings accounts for Americans. He said Obamacare is an utter failure and we've reached a deal. Now, the next amended bill, funded through January 30th, rehires laid-off workers, gets back pay for veterans, active military. It funds SNAP immediately. Even the Supreme Court agreed that Democrats were disgusting in holding hungry children hostage to get to Trump. Trump is poised to sign this immediately. And then they can start working on fixing the broken and corrupt Obamacare. Now, Adam Schiff, instead of filming a video outside, went out into the rain to make it look like he was crying, to show how sad he was that he had to stand in the rain on behalf of the American people. I mean, you didn't have to do this, Adam Schiff. You didn't have to pretend. In fact, we're sick of the lies. But listen to what Senator Schiff had to say.
So I just voted no on the Republican funding bill. I'm outside the Capitol. It's dark and raining, and that seems all too appropriate for this moment, because that funding bill has nothing in it to help people afford their health insurance. That bill has nothing in it that's going to bring costs down. That bill has nothing in it that's going to make sure that people with pre-existing conditions can afford their health insurance. When this debate began, I said I'm not supporting a bill, a government funding bill that doesn't have money for health care in it. This one doesn't. So I'm a strong no on this bill. It will now, later this week, I suppose, go to the House. I don't know what happens to it there. But we owe our constituents better than this. We owe a resolution. It's already badly broken enough. This just prevented it from getting worse. Frankly, we need a system where people can join Medicare and get good quality care, a Medicare for All plan, but we certainly shouldn't be making it any worse. This is a Republican healthcare crisis. They have made it worse with that big ugly bill that took just billions and billions of dollars out of healthcare to give tax cuts for wealthy people and corporations. And sadly, this bill tonight does nothing to address that.
This man is a serial liar.
Yep.
So one area that he told the truth is he said, we already know this is a broken system that's about to get worse. So Obamacare is 100% on Democrats.
Yes, remove it.
A sitting senator for the Democrat Party, one of the leading voices of the party, just admitted out loud, this is a broken system. We needed taxpayer money to cover over our sins, to cover up and hide the fact that this is a broken system. And then what did he do? Then the big lie comes. We know that this is a Republican healthcare crisis. How? Dude, how? You just admitted that this is all about the Democrats and a broken system and the need for taxpayer money to cover your sins. And then he misdirects you like a magician that this is a Republican healthcare problem. Well, President Trump, in his brilliance, has just absolutely and that this has nothing to do with the Republicans. Look at this. Eric Daughtry wrote this up. Let me shrink this down a little so you guys can see it. Oops, just a little bit better. There we go, makes it a little bit bigger. Wow. President Trump has backed the Democrats into a corner on defending big insurance now that he has proposed giving the money to the people directly. Look at what President Trump posted. So they're saying that this is a Republican healthcare crisis. But look at how much insurance companies have gone up in profitability and their stocks since Obamacare started. So they're saying that Trump is screwing the American people when in reality, it's the Democrat Party for over 10 years, over 15 years, they've been screwing the American people. Why? To give money to big healthcare, who is one of their number one funders. United Healthcare is up 1,177%. No wonder your health insurance is so expensive. Cigna is up 822%. Anthem 414, Humana 490, Molina 859, Centene 604, Aetna 595. So they're now saying that Obamacare, created and funded by Democrats, is the healthcare problem crisis of the Republican Party? You guys understand that they sold you out for corporate profits.
Listen.
They have driven healthcare up, in some cases 600 to 1,000%. And now they're blaming the Republican Party. They're trying to say this is Donald Trump's fault, not Barack Obama. That this is the Republican Party's fault, not the Democrat Party. But I know you guys are smart. You see through this, but I'm bringing you guys the receipts so that you know why President Trump was fighting so hard for you. I hate to interrupt, but I gotta tell you this. President Trump is doing an amazing job. He's doing everything he can. But the truth is, we are still dealing with the inflation from Biden. We're still dealing with the bad decisions. We're still dealing with a dollar that is every day losing value. Now, for years, the signs have been clear, but for most Americans, they ignored it. Now, the storm beneath the dollar is impossible to miss. Gold has broken through the $4,000 an ounce. Silver past 50. It's logical. Where are you going to store your money so that it can be safe and it can be growing? Now, when government spends beyond their means, when every crisis is met with another $1 trillion printout or bailout, the value of the dollar goes the opposite direction. History proves this. Every time a currency weakens, gold and silver strengthen. That's just the truth. These metals don't depend on promises. They don't vanish when confidence collapses. They endure. That's why the world's strongest institutions are moving into physical gold, quietly and decisively. Now is your moment to do the same. I own gold. I own silver. I've doubled my money. There's still an opportunity. If you think about it, 20 years from now, where will the dollar be? Where will gold and silver be? This is why I want you to check out StephenLovesGold.com or call 800-608-1770 right now. What they have built with gold and silver can't be taken away, but Congress continues to print us into oblivion. Again, check out StephenLovesGold.com or call 800-608-1770. Now, this is going to hurt, even though this problem is going to come to an end. Snap is going to get their money right away.
Yep.
Military, air traffic control, a lot of things are going to go back to normal. But the truth is, the Democrats shut down the government to try to collapse the stock market and to hurt Trump's economy. They pretended it was about Obamacare, when in reality, it was about control. It was about controlling you. It was about trying to control Donald Trump. The truth is, they've made your life more expensive and they've made you more dependent on the government. Why? So that they can control you and your family. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said, Democrats have actually hurt the economy and people are going to feel it, and then they're going to try to blame it on Donald J. Trump. Listen to what he had to say earlier today.
We've seen an impact on the economy from day one, but it's getting worse and worse. We had a fantastic economy under President Trump the past 2 quarters, and now there are estimates that the economy, economic growth for this quarter could be cut by as much as half if the shutdown continues. And what your correspondent didn't talk about there, George, was there's, of course, the human cost, and we're going to have the busiest travel day of the year, the day after Thanksgiving, and Americans should look to 5 Democratic senators to come across the aisle to open that. But on the other side, there's also cargo is being slowed down. So, we could end up with shortages, whether it's in our supply chain, whether it's for the holidays. So,
whoever invented this deserves a raise. Take a string and a pencil, twist off the faucet's old nozzle like this, then get the U-shaped faucet extender and twist it on counterclockwise. Now you've got a
Holidays are going to be hurt by the Democrats, shortages, businesses, people out of work. Like, people were literally being laid off. Why? Because they wanted power and control. Now, my friend, Congressman Tim Burchett, he acknowledges exactly the truth I've been trying to tell you. Listen to this.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett. Out with the dogs here this morning. Hey, early video, but I want to tell you what really is going on in Washington. This has absolutely nothing to do with feeding hungry kids or providing health care for poor folks. All it has to do is power and control. And you've seen it every dadgum time. And the Democrats, they can't stand Trump. They can't stand anything that he does. If, he walks on water and saves some drowning kid. He says, oh, he violated our water rights. I mean, you know, it's just the most ridiculous stuff, and they're blaming Trump. Trump had absolutely nothing to do with any of this. It was pure Democrats. They voted, 15 times now to close the government, and they finally got enough courage to do what was right and vote to do it. And now they're ostracizing them, calling them all these horrible things. It's just pathetic, really. We need to open the government. We need to pay our TSA agents. We need to feed these hungry folks and get medicine to the sick folks.
He's right. This was all about power and control, and they leveraged people. Now, if you guys have time today, I think that these 8 people that decided to side with Republicans, they are now being ostracized. They are threatening their families. They are saying, we will replace you, that you guys sold out your country by reopening your government. Like, I thought government was the answer for Democrats, and now they're blaming them. So you guys might want to call Chuck Schumer and tell him you're so disappointed that he held the country and hungry children hostage, you'll never vote for him. Booker, King, Hassan, Durbin, Ossoff, Shaheen, Gillibrand, Masto, Warner. None of these people do I like. But what we should do is we should all call them and say, I want to thank you for your courage. You're a hero. Thank you so much for your vote and for reopening the government. Every call that they get, negative or positive, they times by 1,000, and they assume that's what the people wanted them to do. So we should tell the 8 below Schumer, thank you. You should always work with Republicans to open the government. And with Schumer, you should respectfully tell him how disappointed that you are, and that he should have never, ever abused the American economy, American people, or children the way that he did. Now, of course, this all came down to money and power. Listen to what was shared here over on CNN.
Illegal immigrants are not the reason why our healthcare system is broken.
Yeah, it's not deflection at all. In fact, I brought receipts. So here's the CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. Oversight on states like California who were abusing Medicaid and classifying it as an U.S.A, an emergency system, when it wasn't. You've got the average state spends 5% of its Medicaid roughly on emergency services. California, 35 to 40%. Why would that be? Because California passed a state law that says we will fund Medicaid for illegals, and then, oh, by the way, we'll raise our provider taxes, and then, oh, by the way, we'll use that as a match to draw down federal funds. And they're using this whole cavitation process.
An accounting trick to put it on the taxpayer.
Money is fungible, and California's loophole is abusing it.
Listen, and we...
All right, back from CNN.
So most of the country sets aside 5% of their health budget to pay for illegal immigrants. Wait a minute. I thought not a damn dime was going to these illegals. Remember, that's what they said for 40 days. It's illegal for illegals to get health care. Now we find out every state in the union is using 5% in order to give money to illegals, but not in California. In California, they're using 35%. Why? Because if you take away that money to the state that has the most illegals, they will go home and they will not vote for Democrats. So they are literally lying through their teeth and abusing the...
Because they
Wake up, people. They're stealing your money to give it to illegals because they are desperate for new voters. Democrats have terrible ideas. Now listen to what Scott Jennings on CNN had to say about this, because he always articulates it so well.
How are Republicans going to use leverage in their fight with Democrats when the Democrats are actually the ones with the upper hand in the eyes of voters?
Oh, I'm sure Democrats will be more than happy to open the government now. The election's over. I mean, part of the reason they shut it down was to get through tonight.
I mean, I
would suspect they'll be going to open it up by the end of the week.
Adam Schiff, he was like, hold the line.
There's lots of rumors of people wanting to open it.
Look, I don't see what is the incentive for Democrats to back down when voters are basically saying Trump's not doing enough. It's the Republicans' fault, and then they basically handed the keys in this past election to the Democrats. It's where's the leverage?
Again, These are blue states electing Democrats, not a shock. Democrats clearly wanted this shutdown to get through Election Day. I do think they are facing pressure from their internal coalitions, the unions, the air traffic controllers, the government employee unions are
You guys, this is why you watch my channel. This is the exact truth that I've been bringing to you guys. They were lying and leveraging jobs, income, SNAP food benefits in order to what? All they did was win blue areas. I came on, I did a video for you guys. Don't be disheartened. We're not losing. They won blue areas with blue candidates. Shocker, right? So now that the election is over, they're getting tremendous pressure because the majority of the country wants the government open and functioning. They don't have Trump derangement syndrome like the far left crazy radicals. All right. I could go on, but I want to respect your time. What do you guys think about this? This is a huge win for President Trump and MAGA voters. This is a huge win for the American people, for those that need SNAP benefits. Now, I personally would like to see SNAP be doged, and they've got to start cutting off the money. Every time a big story comes out, it almost always comes back to power, money, and giving it to illegal immigrants. All right, I love you guys. Stay amazing. If you could, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and
don't forget the
Charlie always appreciated TikTok because of our shared values of connecting and building community. The belief that when we come together respectfully and learn from each other, we're all stronger. TikTok is a place of community building. It's where you'll find a math teacher explaining numbers in ways that make them fun, or a gardener sharing tricks on how to bring a wilted plant back to life. That's what a real community looks like. People talking, listening, and finding common ground. We shared that belief, and TikTok makes that possible. Julie Kelly is with us, the great Julie Kelly. Welcome back to the show, Julie. I think this is the first time we've had you since everything went down, so welcome back. It's been too long.
It has been, Andrew. Thank you so much for having me on. And I know we're going to talk about some issues that were near and dear to Charlie's heart and that he and I discussed several times over the last few years. So thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we talked about this over the weekend, and it's true. I mean, I think about all the times we had Darren Beatty on and you on talking about who did this? It's like, if you think back on the stakes of the J6 pipe bomber, I mean, if we're to believe what we're told, is like Kamala Harris almost got, murdered, and then nobody in the government seemed to care. So it is a very, very weird.
We heard so much about January 6th, and yet so rarely would they mention the attempted assassination of the vice president, or this terrorist bombing that was at the center of it.
So there was some news this weekend, Julia. I approach it with fear and trembling because there's a lot of moving pieces here and a lot of allegations being thrown around. So please set a stage, tell our audience what happened this weekend, and then we'll get into whether we should believe it or not.
So, first of all, as you guys know, and Charlie knew that I have been covering the January 6th pipe bomb issue really since the summer of 2021.
Yeah, she is.
And no one did more work on this really than Darren Beatty at Revolver News. He's now in the administration. I really miss him. He pegged and he exposed so many strange circumstances with both the DNC, that is where the pipe bomb was found outside of the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee at about 1:05 on the afternoon of January 6, 2021. You could see police officer vehicles right there, including one belonging to the U.S. Secret Service, because to your point, we also uncovered the fact that, strangely, Kamala Harris, who was a sitting U.S. Senator at the time, she was going to be part of the proceedings that day. Also, historic incoming vice president, for inexplicable reasons, went to the DNC headquarters at around 11:25 that morning. She was there when this really dummy device was found outside, just to the right of where that black SUV is. And then also we've covered the equally strange circumstances about the discovery of the device outside of the Republican National Committee headquarters. That was detected at about 12:40 p.m., 20 minutes before that joint session of Congress convened. So anyway, we've been exposing all of this, Kamala Harris's presence, the law enforcement ties of the woman who discovered the RNC pipe bomb. I found the video that showed bomb-sniffing canine units, not once but twice, right near the DNC device. So look, few people want to know the identity of the person or people who set those devices. But what we saw happen over the weekend was and there is, you could see law enforcement after the alleged device was found. And as you guys know, it was right in between those two benches under that bush. So at any rate, few people want to know the identity more than I do, or Darren Beatty, or the people who've really done so much work on this. But over the weekend, a really bombshell, sorry for the pun, story on the Blaze claiming that a gait analysis had determined the identity of an individual who had similar walking patterns as this individual here, seen on surveillance video the night of January 5th, which is when the FBI thinks that both of those devices were planted. So this has been, yes, I'm not going to say everything, but she was a Capitol Police officer on January 6th. She was using non-lethal munitions against the crowd, firing pepper balls into the crowd, as many Capitol Police officers were doing. And apparently, looking at that video, Steve Baker, who's one of the reporters on this story, thought that her walking patterns mirrored the one on the individual on January 5th, who still has not been identified. And the so-called gait analysis, apparently some software determined that the match was around 94% certainty. So I have a lot of skepticism about that story. We can talk about it. But this, as you know, you guys, this took over the internet over the weekend and is still getting a lot of coverage and attention.
There's other circumstantial evidence they claim, right? Like she did leave the Capitol Police shortly after. Like they're offering other, it's certainly not proof 100% by itself, but they do have more than just gait analysis, literally just AI analyzing how they walk, I guess.
Yeah, well, and it is interesting to note that she did leave the Capitol Police like pretty shortly thereafter.
And it's like she left and there's like a lot of quiet, like they claim, it's all very quiet, but
yeah, but I'm not in a position, and Julie, I'd love your feedback on this. I'm not in a position where I even want to name the person because, right. If allegations like this are wrong, it's deeply unfair to the person being named and having their reputation, sullied basically for, we're not sure, right? We're not sure. But it is a giant mystery. And I think there's two sort of stories going on here at the same time. One is this analysis that Steve Baker did, gait analysis, walking analysis. But it's also, it's one of those stories that keeps, coming back around because it is so story, during January 6th, it should have been at least a top 2 or top 3 story that the vice president was almost as well. And some of it just doesn't make any sense because it's this glaring kind of outlier and we can't make sense of it. But we all know that there was funny business going on J6, and this would be a linchpin in the unraveling this narrative that I believe has been sold to us that doesn't make any sense. There's just too much wrong with it. So what is
There's too much
how reliable are we to take this analysis?
Come on, commercial.
Analysis.
I think it needs to be met with a very heavy dose of skepticism, and I will explain why. But first, I want to clarify my position. Number one, I do not believe and have never believed that those devices were set the night of January 5th, because to believe that you have to believe that that both devices went undetected for 17 hours, and which seems particularly unlikely in the case of the DNC device, where not only, again, there were 2 bomb-sniffing canine units who were right there, you had law enforcement from the Secret Service, Metro Police, Capitol Police, who were right outside of the DNC headquarters numerous times. And again, that device wasn't really obscured. It was right between those 2 benches. Not to mention pedestrians and other dogs and people just walking back and forth. It's very strange that would have sat there for 17 hours undetected. The RNC device, also very sketchy, the woman with law enforcement ties. Now, she told the FBI that there was no way that the device was not planted before noon on January 6th. She said it had to have been planted between noon and 12:40 on January 6th because she went to that area at noon and didn't see the device there. Now, she is kind of a sketchy story. I've reported on her. I've got a couple. Right. So that is where the DNC device, you could see right there, allegedly was sitting there for 17 hours and no one spotted it. There's also some video that indicates that maybe there was a plainclothes police officer who could have set it there around 12:53, 12:55 on January 6th. So I've never doubted that this was an inside job, this was a hoax, it was a stunt, and that law enforcement was probably tied to that. So I want to say that very clearly. The problem with this report is, number one, this analysis and investigation took place in a matter of 2 weeks. That means that they identified this Capitol police officer, thought that her walking pattern matched the individual on January 5th. They put some sort of video samples together. In the report, in this article on the Blaze, they said they did not use the FBI video. They used a different sample that was a better quality and speeded up to a normal speed. So we don't even know what the video clip was. Then they also used a video clip of this individual playing soccer. She was a college soccer star and then played, I think, like a professional soccer. So they use that as a gate analysis.
But Julie, you're saying in order to believe this report, you would have to believe that the pipe bomb was planted on January 5th. And you're saying that's not even what you think is true because it would have had to sit there for 17 hours. Did they address that in their reporting, Julie? Steve Baker?
They have not.
Okay.
But I do want to make clear, Andrew, this is what the FBI believes as well. They just did another update on that too. They just did an update on that as well. The problem with this article, the public should be able to see the video samples that they used for the gate analysis. And we also should be able to see a copy of the analysis they call forensic evidence. So when you're not including those links or that evidence or material in your article, it definitely should raise questions about the veracity of it. Furthermore, people who are asking questions, and I think these are legit are being attacked. So I'm not really sure what that is about. The evidence that they used Julie, to determine this was a suspect.
Yeah, please check out Julie's Twitter. It's super important Twitter follower, ex-follower, and her Substack. Julie, thank you for making the time for us today. I really appreciate it.
Boss, sell me a diagnostic scanner for $1,000. $1,000?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to Doug in Exile. If you're a happy patriot, then you came to the right place. If you want to be terrified and just hear a bunch of tabloid crap that's going to get you angry, that's probably rooted in lies and probably will go nowhere in the news cycle, go somewhere else. That's not what we do here. This is only about the facts, ways that we can help MAGA go forward, the Trump agenda go forward, and save America. That's my bias. That's my agenda, to save America. And part of that is to destroy the Democrat Party. That's part of how you save America. America would be doing fine if you literally just remove the Democrat Party away, then politically everything would be solved. Now, we still have a repentance problem. Everyone's got to repent. Getting rid of Democrats, the good Democrat Party doesn't do that. But it saves the republic, keeps the electricity on, keeps the toilets flushing, and buys us a little more time so that we can repent. Welcome. I'm checking in on the chat right now. I see a ton of you coming in. Good morning. I have the greatest audience in the world. I check your messages. I believe we have one of the highest message return rates on any channel where we actually answer. We certainly read them all. Many of them will get a thumbs up or a heart or an answer if you want to hear from us. Leave a message. We give a priority to subscribers and we give a higher priority to members. So there are members that will tend to get more responses. That's not a threat. It's just how we prioritize things around here. Memberships are open right next to the join button. No pressure. I'm not here trying to get people to buy stuff they can't afford. I am here to tell you that over the weekend, the Democrat Party is done, but specifically Chuck Schumer's career is dead. He's been exposed as a fraud for all the big victory lap of the mom Donnie, the election last week. That news cycle is done. We just stepped all over it. And the government's going to open back up again because 8 Democrats defected. Remember what I've said? And I think we all understand the wisdom behind this. I think you all know this too. You all believe this also. You need to unite our side and divide the other side. So the Democrats, 8 of them, peeled off and voted with Trump. We got 8 of them. We're going to go into that. Come on in. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us where you're from and that you're here in the chat. And in the meanwhile, we'll watch this clip together.
I don't want to land at an airport in the United States with a sleepy air traffic controller because they're working double shifts. So
this is Angus King, by the way, one of the Democrats that flipped sides. So, and we're flying out to Colorado for Thanksgiving. We were having to start rearrange our plans. There's going to be a tweet later in this episode where Trump is saying that we should pay the air traffic controllers that agreed to stay on and not get paid. We're going to pay them a $10,000 bonus.
Yeah,
we'll get to that later in the show.
That was good. That's very good.
Any good general, if the strategy isn't working, you change tactics. And particularly you change tactics if your own troops are at risk. And that's really what's happening here. There was collateral damage to the American people. At the same time, the goal wasn't being achieved. So we're going to change the narrative. And now we have a guaranteed vote within the next month on the ACA tax credits.
By the way, they didn't just, before the negotiation wasn't just that they wanted a vote on the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Before, they wanted Trump to preemptively pass and fund the Affordable Care Act tax credits. That is, they wanted him to pay for it. Now they're just going to vote for it within the month. And Republicans are not going to vote for this thing. They're going to vote no. So they agreed to bring it up in a vote. It's a huge win. This is all win for Republicans. The only loser was the last 40 days, the voters, especially the poor, learned that Democrats are stupid. Now, my mom talked to me, and she talked about my aunt, who's a Democrat. My aunt said that it was Trump's fault that the government was closed, and she couldn't believe how bad Trump was. You know, for some Democrats, there's no curing a religious cult, and the Democrat Party is a religious cult. If your friends are going, Trump could have opened the government, and now we show that Trump basically went, and the Democrats, 8 of them came over, they opened the government. It was the Democrat Party that was keeping it closed and preventing SNAP benefits to the poor. So the Democrats, your entire party, that's like 80 million Americans caught in a lie. That's why Chuck Schumer's career is over. And these Democrats are basically, all of my clips are about Democrats complaining and realizing they're saying it's our fault, we're stupid, and we're done punishing the poor.
drafted by the Democrats that the majority leader has agreed to bring to the floor. That's a big deal, and it gives us a chance to put the Republicans to the test. Are you going to work with us on this issue or not? In the midst of the shutdown, they just weren't talking.
So Bernie Sanders and other progressive leaders have said that you and other moderates that have voted to reopen the government going to cause great damage to the Democratic Party, and many will see it as a betrayal, and that
it's a betrayal. You're damaging the party by being normal. Saw another tweet earlier. They go, literally the only sane Democrat is Fetterman, and he literally is the only Democrat that has actual brain damage. That is, a brain damaged Democrat, a Democrat who's full of betrayal, will actually do good things, is what they're saying.
Voters will remember next November. What do you say to Bernie Sanders?
Well, I think what I'm saying is, what was your strategy, man? What was your end game?
Yeah, shred your own party. Good, get him. Kick Bernie Sanders harder. Harder. Worse.
Extend the shutdown another week, another month, through Christmas, Thanksgiving. Is that going to get us anywhere? The point is, there never was an end game if the initial strategy didn't work.
Now, Senator Angus King is a Democrat. I mean, not a Democrat. He's an independent. So for him, it's not going to cost him anything in the party, but he always votes with Democrats. So.
And now we have one. We're going to have, as I say, a guaranteed vote on the ACA, and it may not succeed. I grant that.
Yeah, it's not going to succeed. Here we go. Here are the rhinos of the Democrat Party. These are their backstabbing traitors, and I appreciate them for having half a brain. Here they are. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, that's from Nevada. Dick Durbin, John Fetterman, Maggie Hassan, Senator Tim Kaine, Angus King, Jackie Rosen, Democrat, Nevada, and Jeanne Sheehan from New Mexico. So these might be the more purple states. I'm especially surprised to see Senator Tim Kaine, who ran as, what's her face, as vice president. Was that Hillary Clinton's vice? Yeah, was Tim Kaine.
Are you still there, Jericho?
But I remember there was a period where they did do a screen, and they said, we kind of see something, you need to come back. And that's...
Is Double D 13 years still?
Was that Hillary Clinton's vice? Yeah, was Tim Kaine.
But a reasonable chance, 10, 20%, 30%, is a lot better than 0%, which is where we were as of yesterday morning. So I understand everybody wants to stand up to Donald Trump. Everybody wants to deal with the ACA tax credits. I do too. Okay, the question is this the right tool to do it? And
very well said. The tool, Luke, the job is they're supposed to come together as a body, debate it, and vote on it. And that's what's going to happen in a month. Now, the ACA may go down and not get funded, and Barack Obama is going to be so embarrassed when we realize he lied to everyone about the affordability of the Affordable Care Act. Remember, anytime a Democrat names something, it's a lie. If it's called the Unaffordable Care Act, not care. It's the Unaffordable Doesn't Care Act. Anytime they name something, call it the opposite, and it'll be more accurate, because they're trying to snow you and gaslight you, even with the naming of all their fake news stuff. That's just how it goes. Now we're going to get some Mike Johnson going. Victory lap for the greatest speaker we've ever had. Anyone who tells you different is lying. Speaker Mike Johnson, who held firm with Trump. Now, he should telling Thune to overturn the filibuster, but he held firm with the narrow majority, and once again, without giving up one item, we won. We'll give you the list of some of the negotiating terms, but
the Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there are some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice so that we can vote as soon as possible to pass the amended CR bill and get it to the president's desk. As you all know, and he said as recently as last night, I was with him, and he told the press, he said,
"Hey, look, here you go. Mike Johnson must go." Wrong. Wrong. Whoever's telling you he must go is lying to you. He's the best. He's the best with the narrowest margin, and he's MAGA. So I'm not anti-MAGA. I'm not against Trump's agenda. I am for Trump's agenda, especially in calling Speaker Mike Johnson the greatest Speaker of the House we've ever had. Now, here's the actual terms of the deal. This is a little bit of bad news on this is what we had to agree to for the Democrats to open the government up, okay? Here's the proposal. Fund the government until January 31st, 2026, less than 3 months. So we're right back where we are today in 3 months, which was going to happen no matter what. Even if the Democrats funded this thing 40 days ago, it was only going to go to the middle of November this month in 1 week, in a few days, 1 week. And we'd be right back to debating this thing. So the Democrats can shut the government down again in 3 months.
I think we could take away their money.
Vote on, because we still have to get an ongoing budget.
If they want to
and I don't think Democrats are going to do it in an election. CARE Act subsidies in December of 2025. So that's coming next month, which is fine. Republicans better vote no on that thing.
Nope.
Reverse layoffs of Fed workers. So this is someone there said, didn't Trump start laying off Fed workers? And this is said that they're going to reverse every Fed worker that got laid off since October 1st. So that's since the shutdown, they have to hire them back. So this is anti-Doge. Full year funding for veterans, which I don't think anyone has a problem with. Fund the veterans for a year, even beyond our budget, and full year funding for SNAP. So that keeps them from being involved in the politics of this thing of saying that you're shutting it down and harming the poor. When the Democrats try to shut the government down again in January, they won't be able to say that. Should Republicans accept the Dem deal to pass a $2 trillion deficit Biden-era CR? So these are all the fiscal conservatives like the Thomas Massey types, and they hate Mike Johnson. And they're putting him in the same bucket as McConnell and Thune. And I love Mike Johnson. I don't love McConnell and Thune, although I have some respect for Thune. This is my friend Erica Shelton. We went to college together. I follow her on Twitter. Fully funding SNAP and reversing Fed layoffs is a non-starter. So she's one of those fiscal, more Rand Paulian types who is not for fully funding SNAP because that allows illegal aliens to get their SNAP funds. So that's the government back up. We'll argue it more later.
I think if they want
government is banning this $39 air purifier next month, and this is your last shot to get the original NASA-powered version. There's a...
Who agrees with me? I think it should be, if they want to keep the government temporarily open until January, then they get half pay. If they want to shut down the government, they get zero pay. That should work. You only get full pay if you keep it open. 100%. We got done playing games here. Who thinks yes or no to what I just said? Who understands what I said too? I think this.
New next-gen air purification device out there, and it's the most brutal mold killer.
Here's more. This is CNN's take on what a massive embarrassment and loss this is for the Democrats.
And also on the policy itself. This bill would extend government funding through January 30th. It also would reinstate federal workers who they say were improperly fired by the Trump administration, and also prevent future federal firings as well, and ensure that those food stamp benefits, also known as SNAP, would continue to flow to those 42 million Americans who are starting to see those benefits benefits dry up. And perhaps most importantly, for the hundreds of thousands of federal employees who have been furloughed, they will go back to work in a matter of days once this does become law and eventually get their back pay after missing paycheck after paycheck during this very damaging 40-day government shutdown.
Because
so
of the
when will this all end, Jessica? We still don't have the precise timing of that. We do expect that procedural vote to happen tonight. That would require 60 votes. We do expect enough Democrats, I am told, to get the 60 votes necessary.
They did.
To
They
go
got
to the
their
next
aid.
step. But then they need to reach some sort of agreement to speed up the final vote. Could that happen tonight? Maybe. That could also be delayed to sometime middle of the week. And also, the House of Representatives has been out of session since September 19th. And they have to come back into session in order to vote on the final passage of this bill. That decision to keep the House out of session by the Speaker of the House to pressure Democrats to back their plan, the Republican plans. Ultimately, the House will have to come back into session, bless this plan, goes to the president's desk. So we're still a couple of days away, likely.
Man, those House of Reps that have to fly in from their home state, if air traffic controllers were shut down, they'd have to go through our airports. They couldn't even get back to Washington to vote unless they open the government back up. Now here's another. So we've already gone to one side of the House, Chuck Schumer, whose career is over. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Christine Welker completely slams, eviscerates him. Here's the sleepy-eyed. This man's dead inside. I just watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein last night. I think it was on Netflix or something. But this guy is a reanimated body. Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
Those are like Quint. He goes, with eyes like a doll's eyes. Ooh, they roll white. Look at that. Those are dead eyes.
Senator Jeffries, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer did make a new offer, effectively saying, let's extend Obamacare subsidies for 1 year in exchange for reopening the government for 1 year. You have said you said this. Take a look.
A 1 year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits is not acceptable. It's a non-starter.
Non-starter, and he just accepted it.
It's a non-starter.
This is Meet the Press calling him a liar.
So, Leader Jeffries, what changed?
My underwear.
Well, the proposal that I was making reference to in October was something that was floated out there by a handful of rank-and-file House Republicans, and that was immediately rejected by House Republican leadership because they have no interest in driving down the high cost of living for everyday Americans. The Schumer proposal, of course, was offered in good faith.
Okay. In other words, rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah.
What do you guys say to that? Are you buying any of this stuff from the Democrats? Are you on board with this? Look at that. Got a new member here. Christopher Rintel, thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the club, to the greatest community on the internet. I have the nicest people. Look at you guys all talking to each other. You got to keep each other company. Some people are watching this show and they're living alone. Reach out to each other. Be the human being in someone else's life. Through the chat, that's all we get sometimes. Here's more. Massive admittal that the Democrats are coming from Democrats.
Pennsylvania. Congressman Boyle, thanks so much. A deal such as it is, I think you said you were a hell no on the deal.
Congressman Boyle from Pennsylvania, so he's at odds with Fetterman. He's a big hell no on this thing, and he's angry that his party gave in and started giving the poor people food.
Oh, you know, no way to sugarcoat it, I guess. Can you explain how you interpret why this deal came together now, a few days after this blowout election where Democrats seem to be taking a victory lap, well, literally taking a victory lap, or at least had a victory? Why now would Democrats in the Senate decide to lay down their arms, you know, potentially end this shutdown, when the terms that are being offered by Republicans don't seem to have changed?
Yeah, the terms are the same. In other words, we didn't budge. They blinked.
If you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming President Trump is declining in the poll.
So, Jericho, what I was saying in regarding about, I think what should happen is everybody whoever wants the governor to be temporary basically open for now, they all should be charged. They all should be paid half pay. Half pay. Everybody who wants to keep the government half pay open. If you want to fully open, then you get full pay. If you want to close again, you get zero pay. Zero. We need to stop paying these people money. Things will change that, I think so.
Polls can't be trusted.
In other words, we didn't budge. They blinked.
I can't explain it because, to be frank, to me, it makes absolutely no sense. I am completely perplexed by today's developments, or really the developments of the last few hours.
We've been perplexed by the Democrats for years.
On Tuesday, we essentially had the proof that the American people overwhelmingly were on the Democrats' side of this argument.
He's talking about the Tuesday blowout election, that he says that's about the people blaming Republicans for the shutdown.
Polls have been showing for weeks, over a month, that a pretty large number of Americans were with us. But people always question about the validity of polls. Where here we had on Tuesday the ultimate poll, and Democrats won everywhere. I mean, I'll take Pennsylvania.
Not everywhere in Democrats' strongholds.
Yeah, for example, every competitive race or race that thought was going to be competitive, we won by double digits. We won in Clearfield County, a place that had not elected a Democrat in over a decade and that Donald Trump had carried by more than 50 points. That's how sweeping the victory was on Tuesday. So it's pretty clear that, we went to the polls. The American people understood that Republicans were making their costs go up, that Democrats were fighting to bring costs down and fight to save the health care of the...
I'm just laughing at this guy. These are lies. More lies coming, but first, this is the best news, guys. For those of you who stayed this long in the show, you're about to get the biggest reward. Are you ready for a piece of candy? You've been good little boys and girls, and so now you get a reward. Here's a little piece of candy for you. Monica Crowley, the truth about the 2020 election is coming. Remember, she's the ambassador and chief of protocol of the United States, former assistant secretary of Treasury. She works for the government, for the Trump administration, followed by Kash Patel. Truth about the 2020 election is coming. Thank you, Monica Crowley. And then she says, buckle up. We're going to go into a little more of this real quick. Here's Ed Martin. Who's Ed Martin? He's got the official gray check mark there on Twitter. That means he's an official government agent. It says special attorney addressing mortgage fraud by public officials for the Justice Department under leadership of the great Pam Bondi. Everyone who says that she should step down, they're probably not telling you the truth. Ed Martin says, breaking, President Trump pardoned all of the 2020 alternative electors as U.S. pardon attorney to work with the White House. And this is not done by an auto pen, guys. Along with AG Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, and John Sauer. To achieve your and John Sauer, who's arguing before the Supreme Court. He's the guy with this voice right here. To achieve your intent, let their healing begin. Federalist number 74. Now, here's the actual legal document. Let's get in on this thing a little bigger. Granting pardons, this proclamation ends the grave national injustice perpetrated upon the American people. Remember, these people just had a free speech right to advance their political theory that was presented by John Eastman, who I followed. He used to be a weekly guy on the Hugh Hewitt show. Back in 2001, I followed John Eastman's career. He has personally emailed me right around that 2020 January 6th happening. I had emailed him and talked to him. He was very kind. Following the 2020 presidential election and continue the process of national reconciliation acting pursuant to the grant of authority in Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution of the United States. Donald J. Trump. I do hereby grant a full, complete, and unconditional pardon to all United States citizens for conduct related to the advice, creation, organization, execution, submission, support, voting, activities, participation in, or advocacy for, which is just free speech, guys, advocacy for, or of any slate or proposed slate of presidential electors, whether or not recognized by any state or state official. This is important. Trump's not going to throw them under the bus and make them pay a price. He's protecting them, their opinion and their speech for backing him up when many of them have lost their careers, right? This includes, but is not limited to, so any list of other people that someone could go against, Trump is pardoned. I'm not going to name all of these. I'm just going to name the ones that I recognize. Christina Bobb, Joseph Brennan, Carol Bruner, Daryl Carson, Ed Carver.
February 22nd, 1983 was a pretty scary, hard day for me.
Ed Carver, Robert Cheeley, Kenneth Cheeseborough. These are the ones that Fani Willis went after. Pardon. Jeffrey Clark. What's we have? Oh, there's John Eastman, the lawyer. John Eastman. Jenna Ellis, who plead out, she and Sidney Powell plead out of their deal with Fani Willis. And Trump's not vindictive. He still pardoned crying Jenna Ellis, who became a never-Trumper in the last election. Very pro-DeSantis. Boris Epstein. Who else we have? Carolyn Fisher. Harrison Floyd. We've had him on the show. The great Harrison Floyd, also out of Atlanta, Georgia. This show, we cover the need-to-know stuff, guys. I don't have these irrelevant people that get a lot of clicks on the show. Get the people that are actually in the president's circle. Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor. Rudy Giuliani pardoned. John Haggard. There's David Hanna, Mark Hennessy. Who else do we have? Hill. Andrew Mitt, Jake Hoffman. Excuse me. It's Timothy King. Oh, Stephen Lee, Michael Lundgren, Mark Meadows. He was a big one. Let's see what we have here. Sidney Powell is on here, the Kraken. James Renner. Oh, those are the only ones I really... David Schaefer. The only ones I really... Robert Spindell, Sean Still, Ken Thompson, Kelly Ward. He's one of our gals. Kelly Ward, we love. Michael Ward. His pardon does not apply to the President of the United States, Donald Trump. So he has not pardoned himself on this one. The Attorney General, acting through the pardon attorney, shall administer the issuance of certificates of pardon of eligible applicants. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 7th day of November in the year of our Lord, 2025, and of the independent of the United States of America, 215th Donald, 150th Donald Trump. Now, do you guys support this? Is there anyone out there that thinks, is he abusing his presidential power of pardons? Because you already know that's what the Democrats are going to say. That's what the rhinos are going to say, going, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
Can't do this. Yes, he can. Don't like it, amend the Constitution. If you don't like it, amend the Constitution or shut up. Biden can pardon anyone he wants for any reason. My only beef is that he didn't pardon him because he's a zombie and they ran the auto pen. That does not reflect his will. That's my argument against his pardons. And that's the only argument against it. It's a plenary power. Biden can say, I pardon Al Capone, I pardon. Charlie Manson, he can pardon anyone he wants for any reason. It's a plenary power. You either have to vote and take it away or let it ride. And if you let it ride on Biden, let it ride on Trump. He can pardon anyone he wants. Guys are coming in. Fauci, you guys are mentioning Fauci. There's end the filibuster. Yeah, pardon the filibuster. Let's do a presidential pardon on that. You guys are overwhelmingly supporting this. Great to hear from you. Biden pardoned everyone but himself. He actually did not pardon everybody because we're going to get a whole lot of the people he didn't pardon. I think we should get Mayorkas. Federal crimes only, that's true. Nuke the filibuster. What if he pardons Maxwell? He shouldn't, because she's a child abuser. She's the only one that we got. Only one that we got behind bars. The other one died.
It's strange, Dean, to go back to the original sort of part of this conversation of whether he is a good deal maker. I mean, in a way, it seems like the president is kind of getting what he wanted.
That's a Democrat on MSNBC, ladies and gentlemen. Is Trump a good deal maker? He just got everything he wants. In other words, this is about the shutdown. Trump won the deal. By the way, as president, which is the whole reason why he ran so hard, he got to pardon all of those alternate electors, which is also part of his deal. He's the greatest deal maker in presidential history.
40 days ago when all this started, he was out there saying that, oh, this is all about Democrats trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. He just said that to reporters moments ago, repeated that refrain that Democrats had actually very successfully pushed back against. Then there's all this energy. In the wake of the election on Tuesday, the president made remarks saying basically, wow, Republicans are being harmed by all of this, acknowledging that he was on his back foot. And now here he is winning again? How did he do
it? They're losing their minds.
Don't stay too late.
I'll try.
Friday night, closing the books. Just a few more hours. That's not true. $120 for
come on.
Now here he is winning again. Republicans were on their back foot, and Trump's already winning again. We're going to go into how this whole thing was about a giant news cycle. That's the biggest thing the Democrats are guilty of.
The Democrats, I don't understand how a Democratic senator goes, wow, we won really big. Let me cave now. I don't understand. That makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe to be, to Anthony's point, if they were cynical, like if we wanted just to hold this out until we get through the election, and then after the election, we got the wins,
Yeah, that's the Democrat plan. We're just going to hold it through the election. Hold on one second. How did MSNBC get a time machine and grab Be Hizzy from 30 years from now? Right there. MSNBC has a time machine. Okay, wait. There's more. This is Senator Chris Murphy. Trump is starving kids. That's what he wrote here in this tweet. So here's where we are, Sunday morning. Trump is trying to starve hungry kids in order to bully Democrats into abandoning our fight against health care premium increases. So Trump is starving kids in order to deny families health care. Dystopian, Chris Murphy says. Murphy, 12 hours later, opposing the deal to open the government. So first he blames Trump, and now he has the opportunity to vote for reopening the government yesterday, and he doesn't vote to end starving families and denying them health care.
I didn't want this shutdown. I want it to end, but not at any cost. And of course, I wish that there was a path to saving this democracy and saving people's health care that didn't involve pain. This shutdown hurt. It did. But unfortunately, I don't think there is a way to save this country.
In other words, you starved the people. He's admitting complete guilt here, guys. The Democrats shut it down. The Democrats used the hurt and suffering and starvation of the poor.
Yeah.
Pull it off. Don't let that get past them. They did this, and they didn't have to do it, and they got caught. They blinked. Here's Tim Kaine, who voted for it. Once again, this is what's funny. Look at this lunatic. Look at this lunatic. He looks like a mad scientist here. He's going to say he didn't even know why they were voting to keep the government shut down. In his own words, Tim Kaine, almost the vice president.
Do you wish that you would have started looking for this off-ramp sooner? You said that Republicans were never going to change in their position.
I didn't fully understand how dug in they were, again, because I was so focused on the Virginia elections. I wasn't in this discussion on the healthcare to see how dug in they were.
I didn't even know what I was voting on. I wasn't plugged in. I was focusing on the Virginia election. Then what? He started paying attention, so he voted to reopen the government. He's one of the 8 Democrats that peeled off.
But even as I was not part of these discussions, I was saying to Thune and others on the floor going back, listen, I need, some of you heard me say this in the hall, I need a moratorium on mischief. Others are working on the healthcare thing, I trust them. Others are working on the approach thing, I trust them. I need a moratorium on mischief, because if we vote for people, it's going to blow up trust to get the full year deal. And so he's
giving you a hint.
Moratorium on mischief for a month.
He wants moratorium on mischief. That is what he's saying is Trump canning all of those government agents through Doge, which the Republicans, if they sign this deal, will agree to reverse all of the firings that Trump and Russ Vought did since October 1st. Why is that important with Tim Kaine? Tim Kaine said he was focusing on the Virginia elections, and Virginia is where all of those state workers live that got laid off by Trump. So he's going, all I want to do is open the government up and have a moratorium on mischief, which is to reverse the firings after October 1st. That's what purchased his vote, to go with Trump and stab Democrats in the back. Good. He can be bought, and we bought him. There's more. Johnny MAGA. Oh my God. Trump is recommending a $10,000 bonus for air traffic controllers who stayed on the job. Here's Trump shredding the government workers, the air traffic controllers. Trump, all air traffic controllers must get back to work now, all caps, now, go to work. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots, and I've told you guys this before, there's not a dollar sign next to a patriot. Work for free, always faithful, like a Marine, semper fi. You're faithful and you show up because it's not in the end about money. Those who were the Democrat shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. If you agree with that, in the chat below, tell us.
10,000.
Air traffic controllers, ATC. Yes, give them a bonus. Write it in the chat. Give them a bonus. That's your vote. $10,000 for distinguished service to the country. For those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though they knew they would be paid in full shortly in the future, I'm not happy with you, all caps. You didn't set up to help the U.S.A. against the fake Democrat attack. That was only meant to hurt our country. There's all your chat now. Yes, give them a bonus. Give them a bonus. Hell yeah. You got to call out heroes. They're heroes.
Friends at Judicial Watch, well, they've really won a case against Fani.
Will have a negative mark. At least in my mind, you'll get a negative mark service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so with no payment or severance of any kind. You will be quickly replaced by true patriots. That's what we need, is we get some MAGA patriots in the air traffic controllers who will do a better job on the brand new state-of-the-art equipment, the best in the world, that we're in the process of ordering. The last administration wasted billions of dollars trying to fix antiquated junk. They had no idea what they were doing. Again, to our American patriots, God bless you. I won't be able to send your money fast enough. To all others, report to work immediately, all caps. God bless American President Donald Trump. But wait, even more. Here's MSNBC's Morning Joe just said the quiet part out loud.
The Democrats is they took crime off the front page of every newspaper.
This is what they did with the shutdown. So Joe Scarborough's admitting the quiet part out loud. The Democrats only shut down the government, refused to fund it on the backs of the poor and these welfare moms that are supposedly in the Democrats' pocket. They want the freebies and the welfare. And the Democrats stabbed them in the back, shut down the government. Why? To take crime off of TV. Trump's close down the government just to end that news cycle and take the spotlight off of Trump's good work. That's not a Republican saying it, or a conspiracy theorist, or me. It's Joe Scarborough, MSNBC. He just admitted it.
And that was the story. And they turned it into health care.
That was the story. The story was Trump ending crime, and the Democrats flipped it to be about health care. Here's Greg Price breaking. The Supreme Court will take up the case of Watson versus the Republican National Committee, which will decide if mail-in ballots received after Election Day can be counted. And it's obvious that's going to lose in the Supreme Court. It's obvious there is an election day, and you do not count ballots mailed in after Election Day. That was opened up during COVID. That's why Joe Biden beat Trump, was because they were counting ballots 3 days after the election. It was a special COVID thing going, there were delays. We have to open it up and be more lenient. And it just opened it all up for fraud. At least 18 states allow this, including Nevada, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. Thank you for all your work. Thank you, Lulu. $10 super chat. Luvu, love you so much. With a Snoopy. I love Charles Schultz. Tuesday after the first Monday of November in certain years is the election day. For federal offices, like all other states, Mississippi requires that ballots for federal offices be cast, marked, and submitted to election officials by that day, not 3 days after. So it's postmarked by that day. And like most other states, Mississippi allows some of those timely cast ballots, mail-in absentee ballots in Mississippi's case, to be counted if they're received by election officials a short time after the day of election. Basically, that reverses what it just said about Election Day. So this is going to get overturned by the Supreme Court. You have no election integrity. We have a lot more election integrity coming up here. Here's Harmeet Dillon. We followed her forever. We're huge fans of Harmeet Dillon. Of course, one of Trump's great members of his administration, works under Pam Bondi. She says in all caps, this is a big deal. Supreme Court agrees to hear case over counting ballots that arrive late. I'm going to overturn it, guys. I got some more Supreme Court news to come up. But first, here's Gavin Newsom on Senate rules.
I worry now, though, that sounds like some of my colleagues and friends in the United States Senate, some of my Democratic colleagues, just decided that we're playing by the old set of rules.
Oh, the old set of rules is why those 8 flipped. Gavin Newsom's playing by a new set of rules, which is you do not serve the people and you starve the poor. He's upset that they're playing by the old set of rules. Now, I've said that about Rand Paul and fiscal conservatives who are rhinos, that if you're still playing the fiscal conservative rules, that is, you're in a boxing match with the Democrats, and the Democrat comes up, and right in the middle of the match, they kick you in the groin. They kick the Republican in the groin, below the belt, which is illegal. And the Republican fighter is losing. Third round, they're losing. And then they get kicked in the groin again. The fiscal conservatives, the one going, we have a constitution, we're fiscal conservatives, and we play by the rules.
Yeah.
Trump, after getting kicked in the nards 3 times, the 4th round, turns around, draws back his shoe, and kicks the Democrat in the groin. And it's the fiscal conservatives, the Rand Pauls, that go, hey, not playing by the old rules. Now and Trump goes, that's right, I'm playing by the new rules. Biden, you pardon a bunch of your cronies, and I pardon the alternate electors. Those are the new rules. I didn't make up the rules. You made up the rules. Gavin Newsom's angry. Democrats still playing by the old rules. He's saying, get with the game, guys. Kick them in the groin. Shut down the government on the backs of the poor. The media will carry our water and do propaganda for everybody. Those are the new rules.
The new set of rules. It may have rolled over.
They rolled over
a little bit. So I love your question. It's the right question. I want to be part of that answer as an American citizen.
Look at those imbecilic hand gestures. Hand salad, we call it. Not word salad, it's hand salad. His gestures mean nothing.
Almost passed out from a mold reaction in my own basement. My hospital grade HEPA filter was running right next to where
thing. Like the way now I sit like a Californian too. Look at that. That's a tight leg cross. That's a Californian if I ever saw one. This guy, he has the body posture. That is not the body posture of a world leader, guys. This is the body posture of the Human Resources Department. He's doing heart hands. Says a member or members.
Not as a governor, as the ex-governor of California. But right now, we've got to hold the line because I think America will become unrecognizable in a year or two unless we fight back.
Unrecognizable in a year or two, boy. I hope so. I hope we're unrecognizable from the Biden America. Well said, Gavin. I'm with you. People, you can tell me in the chat below, in what ways do you want America to change? Make it unrecognizable, like no same-sex marriage, no abortion. How about no government corruption? How about no auto pen? How about no mail-in ballots? If you want paper-only ballots, would that change everything? How about no counting ballots after Election Day? That would come. You would not recognize America if you could not count back. If you had voter ID, you would not recognize America in 2 years.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Now, here's on the Democrats just being mean SOBs. So this is Bill Maher. It's not Bill Maher, actually. That's RFK Jr.'s wife. Cheryl Hines. You guys may recognize Cheryl Hines. She played the wife of Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm. She's an actress who's married to RFK Jr. Hardcore Democrat. Here she's going to tell you everything you need to know. This is, again, I'm not calling the Democrats mean and anti-Christ. She's going to make my case for me.
The Republicans have been very kind to me from the beginning. Even from the beginning when Bobby was running as a Democrat, they were...
Even when Bobby was running as a Democrat, they were nice. Why is she crossing her legs? Why does Gavin Newsom cross his legs like Cheryl Hines?
They weren't mean.
No.
And they never have been.
No.
And I can't say that for the Democrats.
I agree.
And it's
sad because it's not the Democrats we grew up with.
Right, yeah.
And
That's the difference that people don't, I think, see. They're like, why did you turn on the Democrats? Well, first of all, I didn't. Like I said, we voted for the same person. But I'm not going to pretend I don't notice how different they are.
Yeah.
How mean they've become.
Very mean.
Democrats are mean. Republicans are nice. That's the conclusion of this clip, guys. If you're a Republican, there's one thing that you know. All my Republicans in the chat, one thing I know is that Republicans in general are nice. If you're a Democrat in the chat, because we never put an X next to a Democrat. These two will both vote for Democrats. One thing I know about a Democrat is that you'll tend to be meaner than my Republican audience. There. I know there's a Democrat in my audience right now watching going, how can you say that? Well, sometimes the truth hurts. Okay, wait. There's more. Breaking. Trump puts the BBC on notice. Retract, apologize for false defamatory documentary or face a $1 billion lawsuit. Let's look at the article here. $1 billion. So all he wants them to do is they can retract and apologize. Fake news. President Trump is seeking to hold BBC responsible for false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements, giving the British broadcaster a Friday deadline to make things right or face a $1 billion lawsuit. That's this Friday. He's going to launch it if they don't retract or apologize. What did they say? BBC's been engulfed in criticism over a BBC Panorama documentary about Trump's January 6th, 2021 speech that he delivered before the attack on the U.S. Capitol when he said, go over there and peacefully walk, patriotically walk. Critics believe the documentary was wildly misleading because it omitted Trump urging supporters to protest peacefully. Just like Adam Schiff and Jack Smith said, they omitted that. Peacefully. It's not he's not calling for an insurrection. He says walk over and protest peacefully and patriotically. And the BBC Director General, Tim Davie, and BBC News and Current Affairs Chief Deborah Turness both stepped down in recent days. That's an admission of guilt amid the growing controversy. So they thought stepping down was enough. No, Trump's going after the BBC. $1 billion.
Yep.
For defamation, false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements. By the way, I hope this sets precedent in the international court. He can go after every country, but especially the BBC, which is a Marxist news network. The UK. It's their PBS. Here's the election wizard. Breaking. Trump administration's Memphis Safe Task Force locates 101 missing children in 40 days, according to U.S. Marshals. Trump in Memphis found 101 missing children enslaved in a dark room. Would you rather Trump find 101 more missing children today, or would you rather have him go after the Epstein files where there are no current missing children involved? You can tell me in the chat below. This does not have a correct answer. This is a matter of opinion. Would you rather Trump find another 101 missing children active today with duct tape on their hands, tucked away in some cellar somewhere, don't know where their mommy and daddy is right now, 101. Spend his time on the Epstein files where there are no current victims. Now you guys know where my heart is. Mine is with those kids that are praying right now. And those kids, the greatest hope of their prayer being answered, of being rescued, is Donald J. Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino.
Oh.
From the Hunt. $1 super chat, go political. Great reporting, Doug. Do more Stephen A. Smith impressions soon. Long time pre-exile subscriber. Love you, brother. Thank you, Carlton. God bless you. Go political, Carlton. Yeah, I'll try and find some Stephen A. Smith quotes. You know how I like doing Stephen A. Smith. Democrats. Like a Southern preacher. Here's Megan Basham. Now, this one is bad news in my view. Boo. Supreme Court declines to hear the case on the constitutionality of same-sex marriage.
David, the movie.
I will not be afraid.
Constitutionality of same-sex marriage. I'm angry. How dare you? Doesn't mean it's for political reasons. It could be they just don't have time on the docket, or it's low priority, or it's poorly argued. It could be a poorly formed case where they just go, this case isn't strong enough to go after same-sex marriage. It's why Roe v. Wade, it took like 30 years for them to 40 years for them to find the right case. You have to make sure that it is Loctite. Megan Basham, the Supreme Court needs to know that this isn't going away. That's true. With more than a decade now to understand the harms that same-sex marriage has done to the rights of children, committed Christians are going to keep fighting for the fall of Obergefell, just as we fought for the fall of Roe. True. It has to be a multi-generational fight, so be it. We will not tire. That is true. Because you cannot force Americans to recognize when you change the vocabulary of what the word marriage means, which has always meant the marriage between two sexes. And now they change it to be the marriage between two people. That's the argument. Doesn't matter what you think of homosexuality. That is not making a moral statement about it. Only that the word marriage has always meant the marriage of two sexes and not two people. And if you can change the number of people involved in a marriage, or the sex of a person involved in a marriage, you can change the number, and you can legalize polygamy, and you can change the age of the people in it, and you can legalize something much worse. Here's Mike Davis. Trump loyalists, including lawyers following the case, say the investigation ultimately should examine what they believe is a far broader and long-standing Democrat conspiracy. We're going for seditious conspiracy. Mike Davis, our favorite guy. Article 3 project. To undermine Trump by launching numerous investigations and prosecutions. That's the biggest one that's coming, guys. Quote, I think it goes all the way up to the top. To, ready for this? President Obama, to Vice President Biden, to Hillary Clinton, to James Comey, to John Brennan, to Clapper, so many players within the Obama and Biden administration. Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project, a pro-Trump conservative legal organization, told Fox News on October 12th, that was a month ago. Oh, and I think it also includes the lawfare Democrats. And by the way, I believe this has started back in October 12th. I believe the rolling out where they start gathering and putting the case together started in mid-October, and it's now mid-November. They've been working on this for a month.
Yeah.
I think it also includes the lawfare Democrats, these prosecutors who coordinated with the Biden White House to bring these indictments against President Trump. That would be Fani Willis. That would be Letitia James. That would be Alvin Bragg. Davis and others point to federal judge who recently impaneled a new grand jury to convene January 12th in Fort Pierce, Florida, over the Mar-a-Lago case. That would be a good place to do this grand jury investigation for what they did to Trump, Davis said. The Mar-a-Lago raid is the hook. That's just where we start, guys. This is coming, and that's good news. Davis said his buddy, Redding Quinones, that's out of Florida, moved to impanel the grand jury after Davis pushed very hard to get him to investigate what he says is the conspiracy against Trump, Davis said in an October interview on the Charlie Kirk show. So he's already made it public statement that he's already pushed Redding Quinones do the Mar-a-Lago, and now he's pushing to do a grand conspiracy charge. In August 2022, the FBI obtained a court order to search Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in Palm Beach, Florida, to look for classified documents he was refusing to return. Trump said he had personally declassified them. Davis and other Trump MAGA supporters say that gives the Justice Department the ability to use Republican-heavy South Florida would be a Democrat-leaning grand jury and trial jury in Washington, D.C. or its suburbs. Can we run? My question to you, the chat, this, you have to put on your thinking hat for a second. Can we run the grand conspiracy? Can we run the grand jury for that out of Florida using Mar-a-Lago as the introduction? Oh, we have a grand jury there over the Mar-a-Lago documents. Why not expand it? Especially if that gets secure and the grand jury says go. Can we, I don't know this, but can we use the same grand jury to say, and we're doing a grand conspiracy investigation and run it out of South Florida instead of Washington, D.C.? Or, you know, basically we're shopping for juries, which I'm all for. You guys think, can it be done? You're saying yes. Hope so. Absolutely. Getting all good responses, all positive. Now here's a believe no. Here's no more BS, please. No. Please. No, I don't want to ever give you guys BS. So I like getting the counter arguments. He believes so. I'm wearing my glasses and everything's fuzzy. He has actually an agreement. Believe so. I'd love to hear a negative comment if anyone doesn't think so. Yeah, we're going to get them, guys. You ain't seen nothing. You know, everything was doom and gloom last week, and now everything. What did we learn today, ladies and gentlemen? $10,000 bonus for air traffic controllers that were loyal and kept their job. That means they were probably MAGA. Air traffic controllers going to get a bump. And conspiracy should launch in Florida. I believe they've been working on it for a month because Mike Davis has been pushing for the Mar-a-Lago documents, and they did it. And now he's pushing for a grand conspiracy. And are they doing it? I say yes, they're doing it. They have to put together a Loctite case. Bad news, the Supreme Court did not take up the same-sex marriage thing, but there's time for it. You have to get the right case, a powerful case, to ever be able to overturn something like that. It's going to require a lot of heavy lifting. Took Roe 40 years. The government's opening back up, and the Democrats are the biggest losers because what they agreed to, as MSNBC said, Trump didn't budge and he won. Trump is the master negotiator. The Democrats came out and admitted they did it on the backs of the poor. They said it in public. And Kane didn't even know why he did it, why he was voting to shut down the government. He didn't even know. So Schumer blinked, his career's over. The radicals are gonna, this is why, by the way, we predicted this. I got it from Jesse Waters and others, that they said after the election, they would open the government back up so that the Democrats wouldn't get punished by their radical left. Because if they opened the government up before that election of Mamdani, all the liberal radicals would go, we're not voting for you, we're boycotting you. We're boycotting the vote because you opened the government up, and we're against Democrats. That's why I am a Republican. I'm for Republicans. I vote for them. I want them to know that they will always have my vote. I will never put an X next to a Democrat, ever. I won't waste my time on an independent either. Third party, people getting 3%. We're in a battle for the country's life. I'm not going to mess around with third party. Sorry. Not here to punish individuals. I'm here to make the giant MAGA, Republican, conservative, patriot movement to work. Even Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, the only way I would vote for them is if someone went against them who could not win. If someone went against them who could not win, I got nothing for you. I only want to vote for winners. That's a Buckley rule. You have to vote for the most conservative candidate who can win. Who can win? Winning. You don't get anything by doing a protest vote and losing. No one learns anything. No one learns and goes, well, we tried this and it lost. Therefore, now I'm going to keep doing that thing that caused that guy to lose. It never works in politics, guys. You cannot win by losing. You have to win by winning. That's the strategy. And I'm specifically pointing you guys to these strategies and training y'all on it because we're going to win the 2026 election. We have to fight harder than ever on 2026. I think actually the fight will be easier for J.D. Vance in 2028 against Gavin Newsom. The hard one is in an off year in 2026. We have to keep the House in Mike Johnson's hands. Mike Johnson and Thune. If they lose it, Trump will be impeached, and the Democrats will throw him in prison.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, guys. We're going to look. I've been talking to you. There's 3,500 people live on the show now. These episodes get up to 100,000 views if you will share the link to your friends, and if you will personally subscribe, share with your friends. Send it to your sons and daughters, to your spouses, even to your parents, and say you should subscribe to this guy. Because what I'm going to do is take 100,000 of you are in my core audience. 100,000 of you are active listeners.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the People's Brief. I'm your host,
100,000 of you are active listeners. It's almost enough to influence any vote years because it's so close. If you guys all vote down the ticket, Republican MAGA, then we could dominate the election. We'll focus on swing states. We'll focus on key Senate runs, people in trouble, where to fund, where to vote. We'll have 100,000 votes to throw around between the states, 10,000 here, 10,000 there. Our little YouTube channel in exile, I'm here to manipulate the election. Want votes. I want to advocate. Oh, Patty Carr, I love you too. I, of course, love all of you, and I pray for you guys all the time, especially for the people that suffer in my audience. I pray for you especially. I know there's a lot of people that do not have the means. You're trapped. You're stuck. You're injured. I have paraplegics that watch this channel, infirmed people, very poor people that are being evicted watching this channel. And I don't want it to, when I say we're happy patriots, I mean happiness is a discipline. It is not about your feelings. It's not everything's fine and I won the lottery and I'm eating cake right now and that's why I'm happy. I'm being pleasured. That I'm not talking about pleasure. I'm talking about happiness, which is virtuous thriving. And that's even when you're in pain and suffering. There is such a thing as happiness, or there's a right way to suffer and there's a wrong way to suffer, I should say. There's a right way to suffer and there's a wrong way to suffer. And sometimes we're going to suffer no matter what. But if I have a choice, you know, if some guy's going to shoot me in the face, I'd rather be praising God than begging him for mercy. And on that happy note, we're going to save this country. We're going to march hand in hand. We're going to have a giant party in the meanwhile, because I love being with you guys. And I can tell by the chat, you guys are enjoying us too. So on that happy note, 2 more videos coming later today. Make sure you watch them. Watch your feed. I'm Doug in exile. Have a great day.
You guys didn't have anything better to do today? Hey guys, it's Angela. So I am here in Washington, D.C. and a protest popped up over here. I had no idea what it was about, and I realized because of their signs that they are protesting Capital One, and they had these drums and were marching in circles. They looked like a bunch of clowns. The circus is louder because they want Capital One to hear them, so they have microphones and this guy is singing horribly. And you had these people who are wearing vests who act like security guards. They also have their medics, and the security guards were blocking mine and Nick Sorter's cameras. Now we're here recording, so we'll see what happens. Make sure you're subscribed. How come you're protesting Capital One?
Well, I actually did not know this protest was happening until recently. I'm just supporting a largely pro-Palestine organization. And I was told about this event, but I just decided to come out here. Capital One in particular, because they have a contract with Elbit Systems, and Elbit Systems is actually funding both the RSF and the Israeli government.
How does this music relate to the pro-Palestine cause?
This kind of music exists.
Not sure if you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming President Trump is declining in the polls. And President Trump responded and says Fox News polls can't be trusted. So now...
This kind of music exists to fight injustice, against injustice.
Oh, okay.
That's why we are here, and we're going to continue to use the music as the power to fight back against the injustice.
What is the injustice that's happening here at Capital One?
Well, I guess I'm not totally sure. I was told at the last minute to come to this place. So after work, I just get into my house, grab a drum, and okay, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just about to learn more about what's going on.
And 95. How do I get one of the cool ones like that?
These are called Moldex.
How come you hand out masks?
Because we're protesting against the genocide in Palestine, and COVID is still spreading, killing and disabling Palestinians, and here and abroad. COVID never ended, and it is a public health crisis. We must also protect our community. So Capital One has a $90 million loan to Elbit Systems, who creates missile systems, and they're also contracting with the RSF in Sudan and build systems at the border wall in Mexico. So they are funding genocide and death daily.
And there's 6 other banks that are also lending money to this. And so do they just not want banks? Do they not want a military? Do they not want our country to be safe? Fight billionaires. What's wrong with billionaires?
They're getting all the tax breaks.
They pay more taxes than basically all of us combined. What do you do for a living? I retire. Free DC from safety and security.
No way how you slice it or dice it. Taking down crime is essential with this society today.
Good morning, guys, from here in DC. Yesterday's protest got me a little bit interested in Capital One cafes and 50% off on all of their items. So let's go see what they have, because also when you're traveling, it's really nice to be able to sit down and charge your phone. I'm headed to the airport in just a minute. Also, in the past, I have rented out spaces in those co-working buildings, and they're okay. There's a lot of hidden fees, and it's kind of confusing. And here they have these nooks with a QR code. So maybe if you're meeting with a business partner too in a different state or city, that could be a good option. Wow. Oh my, it's massive. What the heck? Guys, this is 2 stories. Wait a second. Did I say 2 stories and there's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4? Browse gifts. So is this, oh, I am totally a world traveler. Guys, I'm supposed to be describing the person I'm giving the gift to, and I was describing myself. Okay, finding your perfect gifts. Let's see if it matches me with the gift I'd like. Portable charge, oh, 100% yes. With a 360 checking account, you can access your money from almost anywhere. That's really helpful because sometimes it's hard to take out cash, so I'll have to see what they mean by that. Over here, it looks like they have what's similar to a Starbucks setup where they sell some mugs. I don't know how that's coffee. It doesn't look like coffee, but I guess it is. Some tea. And then I've never seen this brand of chips before either, but... So I guess this cafe is called Verve. Really great prices, wow. This is how the checkout is set up. It kind of looks like a Starbucks. This is interesting. Over here it says that federal employees grab a free 8-ounce daybreaker. Must be because we're in DC. Coffee or hot tea on us each day of the shutdown. So Capital One has a great sense. Okay guys, I'm gonna ask for a caramel frappe and see what happens. I have to say that the coffee did taste pretty good. It was an iced caramel coffee, and you can see that the seating is really nice. It's almost like a library because you can rent out those nooks that I showed you guys, and it's actually free too. I just came down to the first floor and this is how it looks. Yesterday I walked by the DC library and they have this column that creates kind of like a shelter, and so along the streets it was filled with a lot of homeless people, and so the Capital One Cafe or something like that is nice because it's a workplace and it's also free to go or use. I mean, the coffee's half off even if you have a Discover card because they just recently acquired Discover. The workers here at Capital One were very helpful, and they had a student that was with them because Capital One goes to some high schools, and I believe they're currently working in California and Texas, and they get some of the students that are interested or are doing well, I guess, and then they have them come work for Capital One about 2 days out of the week. And so it sounds like they miss 1 day of school to come here to work, and that's a great opportunity. This girl told me that it was her first job ever, and I think that that's an awesome first job to have. And they told me that the values of Capital One are integrity, transparency, also that they help people with their financial literacy. So it's pretty cool to be able to come order coffee and also be able to talk about finances and see how we can improve our situation.
Grip, stability, precision. That's the essence of driving. Lawfin.
Goat dish you can cook.
Hey, I know this
for you.
You know this for
your
me.
gumbo.
No.
Oh.
What?
See how we can improve our situations and stuff. And that high schooler was also explaining to me that she sees Capital One doing a lot of volunteer work and work with nonprofits all over, and she says that she knows that they donate a lot of money. She's like, I don't know how much, but they donate a lot of money. And the guy was like, yeah, to women's shelters, to food banks. So it's pretty ridiculous to be protesting all of this.
From DC to Palestine, DC to Palestine, occupation is a crime.
I am currently at the Reagan National Airport, hoping that my flight doesn't get canceled or delayed, but if it does, I have plenty of things to do because I am going to be studying front to back and rereading this book over and over again. It is the greatest and most important book that everybody should be reading right now. It is Under Siege by Eric Trump, and I actually got my book signed. Check it out. And so if you also want to get your book signed, well, you're gonna need one. And so I left the link to this book in the description and in the comments, and I'm excited to discuss this book with you guys. Guys, my Uber driver is so awesome. I'm headed to the airport, but we passed some people that have these free DC signs. So Yuri was asking, what are they gonna free DC from? And then he was talking about people who have free Palestine flags, and he said, free Palestine from what? From the Jews. And then he said, do you want to, or like, what do you think the Palestine movement is actually about, Yuri?
It's to cleanse the Jewish people from the Middle East, to continue to do what the Nazis did.
That's really scary that so many people just blindly follow movements, right?
Well, that's Muslim radicals.
Muslim radicals. To me, it just seems weird that they're trying to mock the Nazi salute by doing the Nazi salute.
Right. Is that what it is there?
Yeah, it's a Elon Musk doing the Nazi salute.
But he's not in the government anymore.
Yeah.
They're still obsessed about him.
So here we have
a good day.
Some dogs with the FU symbol. That's not very nice. A better president every day. So here they are doing the Nazi salute. Free speech, blue wave. Keep DC free from what? What is it?
National Guard.
Free DC from safety and security. From safety and security.
And keep it from interference from the federal government.
Okay, so you're okay with crime, robberies, car theft?
There is the crime and robberies.
You live in...
I live in D.C.
Okay.
I live in D.C.
Okay, it's kind of weird. Budget reveals moral priorities, pro-democracy. Do you support this structure making the Nazi salute here on the corner? How do you think that makes people feel to see the Nazi salute on their corner?
He's the one that did it, so.
Well,
Take care.
so did Zohran Mamdini. Fight billionaires. What's wrong with billionaires?
They're getting all the tax breaks.
Huh?
Getting all the tax breaks and taking away from the poor.
Okay. How do they take from the poor? How do they take from the poor? How do they take from the poor? How? By getting tax cuts? They pay more taxes than basically all of us combined. But they do pay more taxes. It's just kind of like a fact, you know? Fire RFK Jr. What do you do for a living? I'm retired. You're retired. She looks really young to be retired. You guys don't have anything better to do today? Really weird. Just kind of really weird and sad, right? So, Yuri, it sounds like they're protesting the National Guard being in DC.
They're stupid. We had so much crime before they came in, and the crime has been curtailed. They are too young to understand. The problem is that it's not the only city. Chicago, Detroit, many towns, they have the crime, and the police does not take care of business. Thank God that we have a president that says, I'm going to take care of it. We have National Guard. That's what they are for.
And how do the streets look in comparison to how they were maybe a month ago or...
Oh, they are nicer. You can go in Capitol Hill in the evening. A lot of people didn't want to go to restaurants.
Yeah.
I used to frequent there to different restaurants that I like, and I didn't want to go to that part of the town. They arrested hundreds of criminals.
This desert is alive. Every moment a grand wonder. Our lowest points are your high.
They arrested hundreds of criminals.
Is that a link
That's
that you guys
amazing.
want to watch?
They blocked like 4
That's
blocks,
what we're gonna call
and there
it
was an
Down the
NBA
Watch,
game.
buddy.
So
We're
the
gonna
traffic
play
was
it next
crazy,
time.
but they blocked 3 streets.
No, that's too cold here.
Because they got the permission. When you get permission, you will block.
Yuri, I talked to the policeman,
That's
and
what you
he told
watch.
me that he didn't know that they were coming. As soon as the protest started, they had to hurry and block the streets.
Shows you about the DC police. That's why we have to have National Guard here. Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
You guys over here.
These people over here have no idea. Nobody does nothing crazy. That's it.
Okay.
Who do you work for?
I'm just a YouTuber.
Independent?
Yeah. And so, the legalities of blocking the street, because it seems like the convoys are blocking the street, so this is an organized protest, like it's a plan.
Well, there's time to organize another outside the leader. Then we show up after they show up.
Okay. How did you guys find out about it?
We got officers working down here because we got an event in the Capitol Arena.
Yeah, the NBA game, right?
So who are you rooting for?
Oh, who am I rooting for? I don't even know who's playing.
Cleveland Cavaliers and Washington Wizards.
Cleveland would be good, I guess. Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell played for Cleveland. He's an all-star. He probably scored 40 points in that.
Wow.
Well, you travel around everywhere. This is DC.
Yeah, around this point.
Okay, we will see us again.
Huh?
You'll see us again. We're out here for every First Amendment demonstration.
Oh, so this is the First Amendment.
Well, they're talking about free Palestine, which really, to tell you the truth, I thought they had stopped fighting. But yeah, if they start chanting about Palestine and Ukraine, or they start going about politics, then it becomes the First Amendment. So normal conditions, it's probably been just a band playing outside, which we'd rather them play someplace else and not in a busy intersection like this. But since they start talking about political change, it becomes the First Amendment.
I see. So then they're allowed to be in the street if it's First Amendment?
It's a gray area with that. I mean, we're not going to go out here and just push by the street. Post George Floyd, people started just showing up, protesting wherever they wanted to without permit.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happened. That's what this is.
Okay.
No permit.
So you guys are here to make sure that the protesters don't get...
It's peaceful because sometimes we get counter protesters. They'll come out here and they'll try and fight us.
Okay.
We have to make sure we play referee.
Referee. Because they start.
That's the best way to kind of
Do you like keep
describe it.
points and you like let them know who's the winner? Like clear.
We try not to do that. That is cute though, but no, we don't. What is your name?
Angela.
Angela, I'm Sergeant Jackson.
Thank you for speaking with me.
More than 1,000 flights were canceled on Friday, and a whole lot of flights are being canceled out of here. And I'm seeing that it's packed, and that the amount of flights canceled has like quadrupled day by day as the shutdown is continuing. I just talked to a TSA member and I asked her how she's doing. She's like, we're doing the best that we can. She said people are still showing up for work or else they will be fired. And I asked her how morale is, and she's just going like, and they were getting people through really fast though, which is a little bit scary. I mean, they were just like, okay, go, 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 go. And we were just walking through the metal detector. One guy got beeped and then he had to take off his shoes. And so we passed through really quickly. It took about 5 minutes, but I want to show you guys how packed it is. It's like a bar here. And even though I'm about 2 hours before my flight, I have a feeling I might be here for a long time. I'm hearing that some people are needing to rent cars or figure out other travel plans. I hope I will be home for Christmas. All right, maybe I'm clickbaiting you guys and it only looks packed because they're about to board, which is a good thing. I think it does say. Make sure you guys are subscribed. I'll see you next time. Bye.
This is more than a machine.
Right, everybody.
It's a pusher.
All right, that's done there. So let's talk a little bit here before we end the live stream. What do everybody think about today's video today? The video? What do we all think about it today? Did everybody at least enjoy it? Did we enjoy the video today? Did we learn anything new? Or something we all know about? And don't forget, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Tomorrow we honor the veterans tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it because I know right now I'm cold. I feel like I'm cold. And it's only cold, of course, tomorrow, the wind day, because the wind's so strong today. I know tomorrow, just got to figure out how I'm going to do it. I know tomorrow's Veterans Day. I'd like to go do a little flag waving to honor the veterans. So, that'd be something I would like to go do. I don't know. We'll see. Trying to figure out how to do it. Or just do a live stream, but I can't really. We can try to find videos about veterans and stuff like that. I mean, I like to show respect for the veterans. The man and woman who fought for freedom today. Our freedom is not free, guys. And I want these LIBTARDs and these Karens to understand nothing's free in life. But what did you guys all learn today? Anything new? Yeah, Ashley Babbitt. You remember, every night in D.C., we did the whole flag, pledge allegiance to the flag. We did that every night at 9 o'clock with all of the J6ers in the D.C. gulag. I missed that. But I am very happy that they're all out. As I know they're all out. I think there's still some there for other charges before. But I'm happy that things are happening now, but tomorrow's Veteran Day, guys. Veteran Day. Please do something. Do something patriotic-wise. Show some support to these veterans. Don't sit there and then have this attitude, oh, life is free. Everything is free. Nothing is free in life, people. Nothing is. People died for freedom. And just because you go to the store, it says free, it's not free. Okay? You're still paying for it. I mean, I'm happy that that permanent-wise, what I think what needs to happen is everybody who is that votes to have the governor on standby, temporary open, they can have to pay. Whoever wants to close down the governor, they need to have it completely no money, $0. So if they want to close the governor down, no one gets them already. We gotta, just don't push this gun in the hand. Michael Burns should be charged for Ashley Babbitt's murder. I'm still waiting to see it happen. Oh, yeah? All I know is I can't wait to see. I really think Michael Burns should be charged. He should be held responsible for Ashley Babbitt's murder. And he should be hung in the middle of the street, live, streaming. All the public can see him dying slowly. Because that was not fair when he did Ashley Babbitt. Not fair. We know there's been more than just Ashley Babbitt died today. Other patriots died too. But we need to remember all already here. NJ6, all of them, everybody who died. And, all the patriots that took their life too. You remember, with all this nonsense that going on, January 2020 election was stolen. A lot of people did take their lives. And we got to remember each one of them who took their lives too. We can never forget anybody here. And free Tina, yeah? Yep, got it free. Let's see, because what's up there now? Yeah, it's just disgusting. So, let's remember, tomorrow is Veteran Day. Veteran Day. Not LIBTARD Day, Veterans Day. Let's honor the veterans tomorrow. If anybody could go out there and do something for the veterans, if you could at least, if you don't have money, you can still take yourself and take your heart that God has. You have a heart that's you're still going, and use it. And walk over to a veteran's place. Sit down with a veteran. Have a conversation with them. Sit down. Maybe ask them, can I get you a cup of coffee or whatever? Something. I mean, coffee doesn't cost much, guys. Maybe go into a veteran's home. It'd be something where at least sit down with them. Maybe they have no one to talk to. We gotta do our part, people. Thing is, a lot of the veterans these days, there are transporters. So there's people these days, they've been brainwashed. It's called they brainwash, like these LIBTARDs. They've been brainwashed. They don't know the truth. Gotta just try to be supportive and go talk to them. Yes, in the military. Everybody go out there and show support. Every day that I'm out in public wise, if I see somebody who is whoever's a veteran, I automatically say thank you for their service. Because I am very thankful. I am very, very thankful of their service there. Now, I do know there's some people who maybe don't like the veterans, but I do. I show support. I show support to all the veterans, even the armors. I do. I want to understand. I do appreciate their service. Even officers. If I see an officer that's out and about, I always say thank you for your service. I want to know. I really do. I appreciate it. And I'm here to back the blue. We, mega supporters, we back the blue. We don't fight against the blue. We are not LIBTARDs. We're not government control people. We love our freedom, and we will stand every day, and we will back our blues, and we'll stand for our men and women every day. What is going through everybody's mind right now? What do you guys want to tell me? I know the LIBTARDs are going to tell me that you're a dumbass. I heard it many times, LIBTARDs. I hear all the nasty words that are out there. Until there's free meals from Elvis tomorrow. Okay. All right, thank you. I'll let them know. There's free meals for the veterans. Basically, so what do they have to show? Do they have to show like an ID or whatever? How do they work? I mean, if I can at least get some, as long as they're capable of getting out, as long as they are able. I can try to give them a ride to Applebee's, let them go sit there and enjoy Applebee's and talk with them. If that's something that they want to do, if they don't have a vehicle. But if they got a vehicle and they're able to drive, I'll tell them about Applebee's. Now, what information do they need when they go there? Because you can't have people just walk in there and saying, I'm a veteran, and they're not proof. Because there'll be a lot of phonies trying to get free meals. Okay, ID's okay. So, like I said, I'll try to do my part. I'll try to get out there. If I can't do a flag wave, I wish I would love to. But the weather's so cold. It was cold today because we had winds of 100. At least not, we had a 40-mile wind, 40-mile hours of wind today. So it was really cold today. I don't know. I'll try to see what I could do. See if, like I said, I can go down to see if I can go to a veteran place and let them know about Applebee's and try to get them to get out there and get them go there and get themselves a free meal. All right, I'll wait. Yeah, I mean, I'll let them know so we can get them out there. Because I do want the veterans to be taken care of tomorrow. I mean, as much as I love to go out there and do a flag wave, but the weather's just very, very cold and windy. Now, Jericho, because if you want to, you can post on everybody that died. Let's show some respect, everybody. What we should have done is we should have done the J6 thing that what Trump did. We should have played that. That's what I should have done. I should have played that I should have played the Pledge of Legion thing. The Trump and the J6ers did it together. I should have done that one. But we always got tomorrow. Tomorrow is the actual the day, so I could do it. God is good. I'll be good. So, what is going on? Okay. Yeah, Mel, like I said, I could look online, try to go to an actual veteran place, not the one that I make sure they're really truly veterans, and hopefully try to get them out and let them to know about it. They can get themselves a free meal. We could, we could do is we could post it on my we could do a post on my channel there on YouTube because I already know about this. So if you guys want to, you just go do Double D13 here, and we can let everybody know about it. Everything you're saying, we can make sure everybody gets out there and try to encourage all the veterans, not the freeloaders, the veterans that actually have real IDs and stuff to do. So we want them to show support. And here's the link. Okay. All right. I wish just send me the link to my, you know how to send a link to me personally was. So what we could do is we'll try to make we could do like I said, we could do like a YouTube thing and we can post it on there so everybody knows about it. I want everybody, all the veterans to get involved and show some support, and thank you for their service there. But yes, there was a lot of people that died on January 6th there, and it's very sad. And we need I definitely think Michael Byrne needs to be hung in the middle of the street and do it live. Let everybody see him go die slowly and right to the middle of the street there. And I think anybody who is a pedophile that gets caught and been proven guilty, I say we cut off your stuff. And we do it right there, public-wise. We cut your thing off. Make sure you could not do it again. You learn. I think that if you caught killing somebody, you should get the same thing called death penalty-wise. There's no ifs and buts about it. If you're proven that you're guilty of murder, 100% proven, then automatically get death penalty, no questions. There's no time we sit in jail, no time to sit us for your taxes. It's time for you to go. But they have to be 100% positive that you are 100% guilty. And if the pedophiles keep doing it, afterwards get cut off, then you're next too. Then you get the death penalty too. But I out there, everybody here, remember we are 100% viewer funded. That's how we work. If you guys really, really want to see me to do more things, we need the money. I do know that there will be basically the 4th Pritzker Sucks rally. That'll be held on exactly November 29th. It will be the next one. Now, don't forget, December 1st will be the court date for the LIBTARDs. The 2 LIBTARDs that were caught, yes. We have court on December 1st, exactly at 1:30 p.m. 1:30. Don't ask me why it's so late. Maybe that's the time that Judge wakes up. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. And you have a good night, everybody, and enjoy. And thank you to Jericho, and thank you to WT13 and Patty Lonzo. Y'all have a good night. God bless y'all. And over and out. Let's see what we got here.